you. Welcome to Unit 4, Lesson 5. You're looking for tasks for U4L5. You can find it under assignments or on the weekly calendar. Today's date is the 14th of January. We'll start off with our usual pair and share. Gonna pull up the question right now, but you can see it in the tasks to complete as well. Here is Summer. Okay, here's the question. What fictional world or place would you like to visit and why? So this could be from a book, a comic book, a movie, a TV show, streaming series, video game, whatever. Think about that for 20 seconds. Summer, how you doing?
I'm good. Sorry I'm late. I had a math test.
Oh, it's all right. We're glad you're here. Feel good about the math test? All right. Okay. Don't forget to say hi and check in with the person you're in the room with as well. For sharing, everybody. What's funny is no one said Harry Potter. I kid you not, like 10 students in my previous class were all about the Harry Potter universe. So it wasn't mentioned once here. But all right, next on the docket is homework review. You just had to make sure that you completed the sensing circulation lab from our previous class. I am seeing 13 attempts on that. So if you haven't submitted that, please do so as soon as you can. Let me know if you need help. Then there was just the reading from Hewitt. It was super short, so make sure you've submitted your notes. And I'm seeing 11 attempts on the quiz, which all look good. But again, it looks like a few of you still need to do that. It is very short. So do that as soon as you can. Let me know if you need help. Any questions or comments on those homework assignments? Okay. Then first thing we're going to do is use a Edpuzzle based on a crash course human anatomy and physiology video to review the respiratory system. Make sure you're feeling good about both the anatomy, but also how it works, the physiology. So I'm going to time, it's 8.5 minutes long with about 8 questions. I'm going to time for 15 minutes. But once it looks like most of you are done, we'll come back together to review and move on to our next thing. So 15 minutes to work on the crash course respiratory system Edpuzzle. There's an alternative Google form if you can't get Edpuzzle to work. Go for it and let me know if you need help. Absorb nutrients from the food we eat and all that stuff. The respiratory works hand in hand with the circulatory system. That's why we spent the last 2 lessons focused on that. Looks like everybody got that for delivering oxygen to all of our tissues and getting rid of carbon dioxide waste. Diffusion does not work over long distances. That's why the whole goal of your lungs is to get blood as close as possible to air. This is also why your lungs are a key site of infection, right? Something like the coronavirus enters the lungs and is able to get right into your blood because it's pretty much immediate access. So your lungs are very well defended, but if a virus is able to get through those defenses, then it has pretty much direct access to the bloodstream. Exhalation or breathing out is when your diaphragm relaxes. Again, the best way to think about this is just to take a deep breath yourself, right? If you breathe in, you can kind of feel your chest flex and expand, but when you breathe out, it's more of a relaxing motion, right? Your chest shrinks back to its original size. So I know it's a little weird to think, but even though you're pushing air out, it's actually a relaxing motion. Your diaphragm is not flexing anymore. 2 important functions of the nose. I know it's weird. Everyone thinks of the filtration stuff, but the idea of moistening and warming the air sounds a little gross, but it's important for actually allowing for the exchange of oxygen to occur because the liquid needs to be present. The soft tissue in your lungs that prevents food from going down to your lungs is called the epiglottis. This is why your throat kind of has an up and down motion when you're drinking water or something like that. It's because the epiglottis is constantly protecting the airway, but allowing you to breathe in between. This is also why when people are choking on like large bits of food, what's happening is they get stuck in the throat above the epiglottis, which can't open anymore, so we can't breathe. That's why people suffocate if they're choking. It's also why if you do the Heimlich, sometimes whatever, if it's a big hunk of beef or something like that, it comes shooting out of their mouth often because it's the epiglottis literally catapulting it out, opening up so that the airway can be open and you can breathe. It's just kind of crazy to think about. Yeah, it's also awesome that your trachea, which is your main breathing tube, has cartilaginous rings, so it won't collapse on itself when you're breathing in. This is also why it's very hard to strangle a person. Not that I would know that personally, but it's very difficult to fully close your airway um, because of those rings. And your lungs are full of what are called alveoli. They're the little tiny sacs that where gas exchange actually occurs. So the key to having healthy lungs is keeping your alveoli healthy and clean. This is why people who smoke or people who work in mines where they're breathing in air that has lots of contaminants in it, those contaminants get in those little tiny alveoli and build up, and oxygen exchange becomes very inefficient. Often cancers can form. There's all kinds of bad stuff, infections, which is not good. So you want to keep your alveoli healthy. A lot of people think the lungs are kind of hollow, like balloons. They aren't. Even though you've heard of like lung collapse and stuff, they're very spongy. They're just full of these tiny, tiny little holes. So, any other questions or comments on that video? Okay. Then I wanted to tackle just one aspect of lung health. We'll look at the coronavirus in a little bit, but what I want to start off with was something I think that's even more relevant to people your age, which is the recent craze around vaping. So smoking has been a long time thing where you're inhaling burned particles, usually nicotine, but could be THC from marijuana, that kind of thing too. Recently, new technology has now allowed industries to vaporize these substances. So that's what vaping is. You're breathing in a liquid, often sometimes an oil too, that has been put into gaseous form, and that's what goes into your lungs, and obviously can have some effects on them. So that's what I want to explore very briefly. We'll have just a quick debate about two statements. So here's how this is going to work. The instructions are in the tasks to complete list. If you look at step number, oops, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Step number 4. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to put you into I'm going to give you a statement, and then I'm going to put you into, or you can choose to join one of 3 groups. You can either agree with the statement, disagree with the statement, or decide you're neutral or undecided. And so what I've done is I'm going to try to use a new feature on Zoom where you can actually choose which breakout room to go to. However, if you have not updated your Zoom, then it won't work for you. So then all you need to do is privately chat to me, agree, disagree, or neutral, and I will assign you to a specific group. While I'm doing that, think about why you agree, disagree, or are neutral, whatever you chose. And then you're going to have a brief discussion within your breakout group while filling out a Google Sheet, which is linked to each of the statements, just to show you what that looks like very briefly. If you were to click on statement number 1 there, it would take you to a Google Sheet that looks like this. And so you can see the agree group, you can type in your key arguments here, disagree group, key arguments here, and neutral group, just what you're thinking, or again, some of your key arguments as to why you have mixed feelings there. And we'll kind of come back to share and look at those. So without further ado, the first statement is the sale and use of e-cigarettes should be completely banned and made illegal for everyone. I'm going to go ahead and open up the breakout rooms. And so for those of you who have updated your Zoom, I'm assuming it should appear in the lower right of your screen, little breakout room invitation, and you can choose to join the agree group, disagree group, or neutral undecided group. If you don't see that, don't panic, just privately chat me your position, and I will assign you to those groups. Wow, this works a lot better. Okay. Just waiting on Joseph and Summer. What are your opinions?
I texted you.